Welcome to Legacy, a broadcast, a podcast that will encourage your heart, and we pray and hope that it will do something in your life that will enable you to leave a legacy for generations to come. So we want to welcome you. Normally, David and Shirley Walker are co-hosting with my wife, Tex, and I, and we have Dave Tippit and his wife, Kelly, here today. David Walker said when you were ordained just a few weeks ago, after you left, David Walker looked at me, and we'd been questioning you, Dave, and he said, Dave really is different from you. And but 30 seconds later, he says, he thinks before he answers questions. And I don't know what the implication of that was, but there is one way in which you are not different from me. And that is, you married over your head, and you're just like Tex. I've told people that, proud and. No, we are so blessed by you guys, both of you. Y'all have just been a blessing to Tex and I. We've shared that with people all over the world of how much of a blessing it is to see you loving Jesus and walking with the Lord. And we talked some about that last week, and we talk about that's really the foundation for everything, and your relationship. But we want to talk this week a little bit about raising children. I just know that there are a lot of young couples out there that are struggling, and I say struggling, and we're going to talk about the struggles and so forth because we have to be honest about it. But it's not just struggles. I mean, there's joys with rearing children, but I think I would say, and you help me on this, hon, that was probably the hardest time in our marriage, in our lives when Dave, of course we had Dave, I mean. But
like his dad,
right. All right. But
gone to meddling.
Dave and Renee, when they were very small children, because you felt sort of trapped and I was not as sensitive.
And I'd been like Kelly, that I'd been able to minister. We'd been able to minister together. We were like joined at the hips, and then all of a sudden we had this precious little one that we'd prayed for, and God brought into our life. And yet it was like, boy, my whole life was turned different. And I was at home, and I was with him. And there was that, you love being a mom, and at the same time I was torn because we'd been so full-time. And so that was probably the biggest adjustment for me personally.
Kelly,
and the Lord's used it, like Dave said, the Lord's used it in my life.
When Taylor came, Taylor is, by the way, our
5-year-old
grandchild, their daughter. When Taylor came, did you struggle with that any?
Mm-hmm. I did. We had the same kind of situation. I was full-time with Dave every day. We spent the full day, all day, every day together. And then all of a sudden I'm at home with this little one who was quite colicky and very needy. Mm-hmm. And my heart was torn. I felt like I felt like I'm not ministering anymore. I've given that up, to be able to minister. Now I'm raising this child. And so I had to adjust to, like, this is now my ministry. And just kind of working through that, because it is a big adjustment. Everything changes. I mean, your time, all of a sudden, I just felt like I had no time to myself. And that before we'd come home, we'd come in to go as we wanted, and life seemed so much more simpler. And then this child came, and we were so excited, and we had prayed and wanted this child the same way. And now we were struggling with just my desire to be part of what he was doing, and not really feeling connected in certain ways because I didn't know exactly what was going on. I was missing out I felt like I was missing out. And then just not, just having a whole lot of outlet besides being home, and it was a big adjustment.
What about you, Dave? How did that? All of a sudden, life takes a change, and you're excited about it. But how did it affect your work, your relationship with Kelly? How did all that?
I think the biggest adjustment is the balance of time. You don't realize it until you don't have it, but whenever kids come along, the time slots shrink, because there's so much to do and there's so much responsibility. And so I think for me that was the largest adjustment. It's really hard. I mean, you can talk about it to someone, having kids, but it's kind of like marriage. Until you actually do it, words can't really convey both the joys and the struggles that are associated with it. So I tell people all the time, there's no amount of money that can bring me the satisfaction of coming home and opening that door and seeing two little girls run up to you and give you the hugs that they give you. There's nothing, money can't buy that kind of joy. But at the same time, I didn't realize it. People would tell me, oh, you travel as much as you can, do as much as you can, and you kind of take it for granted until it actually happens, about how much of a reduction in time there is. And so I think just balancing life, it's still something we struggle to with this day, of trying to live a holistic life that God's called us to live, is a tough task. And so,
one of the things when you guys came along, that I put a limit on the number of days that I travel. And I've traveled, and Tex had the responsibility at home, but I knew that I couldn't travel like I had been traveling, and I continued doing what God called me to do, but I had to put a limit. I mean, anytime something new comes into your life, something old's got to go out, and so there had to be some time adjustments, and that was part of it. But I can kind of, from the other end, I'm way down the road here, and look and see your life and see Renee's life and see how blessed y'all are, and how God has blessed you both with a wonderful spouse and now children, and to see what y'all are doing with your lives. And no greater joy as a father and mother than to see their children doing what you guys are doing. I mean, it's just incredible joy for us to see the way things happen. So the cost, all I'm saying is, it's down the road, it's worth the price that you pay, and so forth. Okay, tell us about the three now you have, and maybe a little bit of the differences. Explain that, because I think that's one of the wonderful things about God's creation, is that we're all different, and how two people can come out of the same womb from the same set of DNA and parents and be so different. When I say two people, I was thinking of you and Renee. I mean, y'all were just, totally different from one another. And Kelly, I'm assuming that that's the same way with the three little ones. So tell us about the three little ones that you have.
Well, Taylor, our first one, she came out very strong-willed, very determined. But as time has gone on, she's now 5, and we've seen her mellow out a lot and become a really sweet little girl, kind of shy and reserved a little bit, excited about learning and sharing that with other people, the things she learns. And then Riley came as a baby, so easygoing, so laid back, and we're like, yes, we got an easy one. And then she hit 2, and just, we don't know what happened, but she has that Tippit blood in her.
What happened to Hotchkiss here?
But she's very strong-willed, and just does not give up. I mean, here's the word no, and she's going to fight you on it. It brings you to tears almost. So she's just very strong-willed, but has no fear. Just loves life. Was very funny and outgoing, and she's the one that's going to just run and jump off the diving board and not think anything of it. Just just kind of out there. And so then we have little Brayden, who we're praying is our laid back one, that we're actually going to get one of those I see other moms having, that say it's time to go, and they're like, okay, let's go, and no tantrums and stuff. So we're hoping that for the third one, our little boy. We'll see.